So first let's understand what do we mean by text completion question. So these are fundamentally the fill in the blanks questions where they test your vocabulary along with some knowledge of contextual usage of words. So even if you know the meaning of words, you need to understand when to apply what, and also there will be words with multiple meanings and multiple usages, so you got to understand where it fits properly. So those are the things that you have to take care. First, let's look at this question, right? We have a sentence with a blank, right? We have a sentence with a blank. You need to select a word that would fill it, and you'll have 5 options. You need to select one option out of these 5 which would fill that. So there's one correct answer for this which you need to fill. So just try this question. Before we try this, let's talk about what is the better way or the best way according to us to solve these questions. So first you need to understand what we recommend is that don't read the options, right? Only look at the sentence and try to see which word would fit in this blank. Write that word on your own, right? So that you can actually fill the word by looking at the options. What is the general observation that we see in the exams is that the number of people when the correct answer is the last options, right? That's the statistics, that's something that's being observed, that the people get the question. If, for example, if a question has option D or option E as the answer, the students, most of the students, that is 40 to 60% of the students are getting that question wrong. Whereas the first 2 options are the answer, the students are maybe 20 to 30% of them are getting it wrong. When I say the question difficulty is same, that is, let's say the same question, if you test to 2 groups, it's like 100 students here, 100 students here, and then we just juggle the options so that the right answer is there at the bottom or the right answer is at the top. People if the right answer is at the top are getting it more right. That's why the less number of people are getting it wrong. Like 70%, 80% of them are getting it right. If the correct answer is there at the bottom of the options, they are getting it wrong for most of the cases. Around 40% of them only getting it correct. Why is this happening? Because people follow a wrong technique where they just read this statement and see option by option and see if that is fitting, A is fitting, B is fitting. And somewhere they feel, okay, A seems like a decent fit, they select it and move forward. That's not the correct way. Okay. This could be something that might make you feel that it's a better word to fit, but the actual word that is much better and much suitable for the blank would be next option. So you got to look at all the options, you got to eliminate the wrong options and stuff, but much better is first reading this without looking at the options and then trying to understand which word would fit better for this. I mean to say, write in your own words and then look at the options and see. Even if you feel the option A is the answer, don't stop it there. Look at the rest of the options and make sure that the rest of the options are not as good as the first option to fit this blank in your own words when you wrote. Then only you select that, right? So what is the thing that we are talking about? There are something called subject, clue and pivot that you have to be careful about. In every sentence that you see, there will be one main subject on which the topic is going on, right? Let's look at this. Although it appeared to be dash after its stagnation and eventual cancellation in 2005, Magic Wand returned to Forest TV in 2019 to become the longest running show in the history. So I see this Magic Wand, this is a TV series, a TV show that they're talking about, right? So this is what the main subject is. It's all talking about this TV show Magic Wand. It appeared, although Magic Wand appeared to be dash after Magic Wand stagnation and eventual cancellation in 2005, Magic Wand returned to Forest TV in 2019 to become the longest running show in the history. So, what is the clue at the key point that is being talked in the line? It's about it was stagnated and cancelled in 2005, right? And then it returned to become the longest running show. It's all talking about its cancellation, right? But after that, in 2005 it was cancelled. In 2019 it came back to become the longest running show in history, right? It is running, or it started to air in 2019. So what would suit here, and I also see that's the clue that we are talking about. And then this pivot are the words which would, give hints. Are they supporting the clue? Are they actually taking the negative direction? Are you counter clues, etc.? So see the words like although, however, thus, this, all of these would be the pivot words. That here I see only although. So although it appeared to be dash after its stagnation and cancellation. So this statement, right, in 2005, the first part of the statement, what is it saying? Stagnated, cancelled, right? So what do you expect from this? So the show would have been stopped and it is not airing at all or anything. So that's what we expect with this. But there's a pivot word called although. So although it was stagnated and cancelled, it returned and became the longest running show. So that's connecting well, right? So it was stagnated and cancelled, but although it's like you can fit it like this also, but it returned and became the longest running show. So it is looking good. So what should I have in this blank, which is syncing with this part, right? Stagnation, cancellation. So it appeared to be dash after its stagnation and eventual cancellation. So it should, this word, the blank, should be in sync with what is being talked here. In stagnation, cancellation. What do you expect when something is stagnant and cancelled? Something like, done and dusted, right? Although the show appeared to be, the magic wand appeared to be stopped, right? Or closed, or like done and dusted, killed, or whatever I call it, right? Basically they stopped, they're done with the show. After its stagnation and eventual cancellation, Magic Wand returned to the Forest TV in 2019 to become the longest running show in history. So that's what I need to select the word. That's what you need to understand. The subject is the TV show. The clue was talking about the cancellation in the early part. Despite that, it's now become the running show. So the blank is here. So the pivot words you should understand, so that you understand whether I should talk in the positive or negative. You have to be careful with that. Now then, once I know this, now look at the options and then see which one would actually fill that blank properly. So we'll get back to that. We'll get back to this question, or maybe, okay, let's look at this part now itself. So what would be a suitable word for this? What I would recommend you is pause the video and see. If you don't know the meanings of these words, then search for them on your own, understand, pause the video, Google the words, and then pick the meanings of these words, and then see which word would fit it. If you know the meanings, that's great. If not, pick the meanings from the net and see which word would suit it. Hope you have passed it, right? So if we look at the words that we have here, which one would fit best? See, defunct is the word which would fit the best. Defunct is like stopping it. If something is done and dusted, like, it's not working, it's closed, it's stopped, that's called defunct. Right? A factory, or or an organization is defunct, we call it. So basically they are done and dusted, they're closed, they're not running anymore. Then that's when you call it defunct. Right? Those are the words that, rest of the words, ascendant is like, a word which is like growing, which is not at all fitting in this, right? Here I need something like a negative word, which is basically saying it's stopped and it's not running anymore. Jaded is like when you're satisfied with something, you say that, like satiated, and you eat food and then you feel like, okay, I'm done and dusted, I don't need, so let's say you're talking about eating food, and then you ate something and then you feel, okay, I'm done, I don't want to eat anymore. That's when you feel like satiated and satisfied, and you don't want to eat more. That's when you are in the state of jaded. So that also doesn't fit here, because we need something talking about stopping it, not about satisfied after its stagnation or something, right? So that also is gone. Then we have something called unflagging, right? So unflagging is basically, being persistent and tireless. So that is also something that I don't see as a fitting word here. So being, although it appeared to be persistent or, being tireless, that's basically like working hard and you stick to it, you don't want to leave it, something like that, but doesn't make sense. And then we have one word called decadent. And what does decadent mean? So it's basically talking about some cultural decline. So this is a word specific, decline in something with respect to the culture and moral behavior. though it is a bit of decline, etc., but I don't see it being contextually the right thing to use. So defunct is the word which is the best fit.